好的，各位观众，大家好，欢迎收看 TGA 大奖赛冬季赛城市英雄联盟争霸赛的半决赛，我是你们今天的解说炮七，
我是小头。
那么经过前面几天的小组赛的征战之后，终于迎来了我们今天的第一场波3的比赛，由我们 YLG 战。We Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Chinese League of Legends broadcast brought to you by our friends here at LPL and I'm your man, Nick Tasty Jocko, joined by, of course, Hubo, Soldier Shim, and the newest member of the China Talk broadcast, Brento Razalplasm Mohammed.
Yes.
We are your caster trio for the day during this TGA LSPL promotion qualifier. Gentlemen, give me the rundown of what we've got. What can we expect tonight?
Oh, baby. Well, we've got a good production for you today. I mean, obviously, people have doubts because it is the LSPL promotion tournament, but I do think that we have a lot of good League of Legends play for you today, including some, Koreans that are playing, especially those in Korea Chinese Dragons and EDG Future. So I think we'll be really excited. What do you think, Raz?
It'll definitely be interesting. Just a second, I'll keep going.
Oh, okay. Well, we're getting into picks and bans, and I do want to talk about. So the first game is going to be, it's a best of 3 between YouLong Dragons and Team Legendary Dragons, and Razzle says something is wrong, so I'm going to mute the stream. Oh, shit. Alright, we should be back?
Yeah, we're good.
Alright, someone talk to me. Nick, you there?
Hello! Hello!
Hello there, my friend. My Tasty Evans friend.
Hold on. If everything's scribed right now, does that mean I get to do the intro over again? Because I will totally do the intro over again.
Wait, are we talking about the da-na-na part?
That and the whole spiel that I had to go off,
Okay, do it again. I want to hear it again.
Silence. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Chinese League of Legends broadcast brought to you by our friends at LPL. I'm your man, Nick Tasty Jocko, joined by Hubo, Soldier Shim, and the newest member of the China Talk broadcast, Brento Razalplasm Mohammed.
Hey.
We are the caster trio for the day during this TGA LSPL promotion qualifier. Gentlemen, give me the rundown of what we got one more time, because something that just killed all of humanity.
Alright, thank you, baby. So we have a game, our first set of the day, and remember, for every best of 3 series, these are the teams that will get into the LSPL. So if you win a best of 3 right now in the round of 8, then you have punched your ticket into the League of Legends professional secondary professional league. And even though people describe it akin to the challenger scene, we here in the Chinese scene like to call it LCS2 because these players are salaried heavily. They do live in the gaming houses. But I want to talk about, Raz, you can talk about YouLong Dragons. I don't care about them. I really want to talk about Legend Dragon, because Legend Dragon was a really interesting team to me, because they're one of the few teams that seem to show the ability to communicate effectively, but at the same time team fight really poorly. And you see this because when you're watching their games, they engage really fluidly, or they're able to turn fights really easily. However, their ultimates are not synced up, their abilities are not synced up, they skirmish in a ton of different places, they don't kite for the AD carry at times. So I really need to see Legend Dragons take the next step in order to defeat, a YLG team that looked really strong and actually defeated the favorite in their group, Team MD. So Raz, maybe you could talk about that.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like YLG, like during their group, which is only a 3-man group compared to the rest of the groups in there, which are like 4-team groups, which are a little bit more competitive. But in their group, it was a little unique in the sense that their picks and bans, or at least the meta for that one, the meta for the picks and bans, were widely different. As you could see in the bans that Legend Dragons actually issued, the Galio ban, that was actually very important in that group, as YLG was able to take down the highly favored Team MD with a Galio pick, because through that group you'd see either Galio being picked or Janna being banned. Both picks and bans were really like based off one another. So
right,
yeah.
Definitely. And Nick, before we get back to you to go over this draft phase, I really do want to mention, the team that the YouLong Dragons, YLG, had to beat to get into this stage of the tournament, Team MD. MD had been looking extremely strong. They were heavy favorites to make it into the tournament. So to not see them here is really surprising. And you really do think that in terms of momentum, YLG has all of the, all of that emotion, all of that momentum, all of that, they're basically ready to turn this tournament on its head and ready to get into the LSPL. So I'm really excited to see some League of Legends of our teams. We can get a nice composition rundown from our weatherman Nick Yako.
Well, Soldier, it's a fine day here. Look like a bright week ahead in the week of weather. It's bringing back memories, man. Before we get into this pick draft, we have a minute left of the delay to talk about this fun stuff. But before we get to that, just bringing back the memories. Me hearing Soldier's voice again, it makes me want to get on my knees and start crying.
All hail Soldier.
Donger is fully raised. Thank you.
I said get on my knees and cry, not just get on my... Never mind. Ladies and gentlemen, looking over this competition draft phase. For the side of YLG, we've got Rise up top with the Jarvan in the jungle. Jace rocking mid lane with the Summoner spell Exhaust. We'll go over that in just a second. Corki and Nami closing things out as AD carrying support. On the flip side of Legendary Dragon, Gnar bringing out the top lane. Good to see him in competitive play all across the board here. Kha'Zix in the jungle. Zed rocking mid with that blown out Ignite. And then Lucian and Morgana closing out as AD carrying support. Guys, give me the lineups, give me the deets, give me what we got here. All the information you can possess.
Right, so let me talk about YLG, and Raz, you can take the other side. So YLG is interesting because I do believe this is the nerfed Rise. So this is the Rise where, he had his damage nerfed on his Q, and so basically his early laning presence is much more difficult, especially if you are against that Gnar, because Gnar is so incredibly strong in this meta. But just, Jace, Nami, Corki, that is such a traditional meta composition in all across the world right now. Europe, North America, China, Korea, the GPL, even though I don't know what's being played over there. And so you do have to think that, when you do see the Jace Corki, you really have to think that positioning issues are really key. You have to be able to make sure you maintain your zones around your two carries, and you have to be ready to have vision, because if you get flanked by that Gnar, you're automatically dead. So vision control and being able to contest Dragon correctly is really key for YLG in this game. What about you? What do you think, Raz?
Yeah, definitely. That does ring true. The best part about Team LD's team comp is, I would say, the fact that they were able to get Gnar, because the picks and bans during their groups were pretty much... They never were able to pick out the Gnar, but they did ban it out quite a few times. It showed that they were really valued its strength. So...
And fun pick for the Gnar.
Yeah.
Raz gives us the fun fact before that Legendary Dragon's top laner is named Potato.
Yes. Yes.
I had to pick it out at some point.
It's Mandarin for potato too, though. I think I might be butchering the name, that one, but yeah, it is potato. So we will be calling him potato. I'm gonna be calling him potato the entire time, especially when he messes up.
Pause. What game would it be without a pause, gentlemen? I tell you.
Right.
But yeah, that team is very team fight heavy. Based around ooh, wait, okay, no, never mind. I thought I saw a longsword on Kha'Zix for a second. I was like, wait a second, that sounds horrible. Yeah.
Hey, man, mid lane Kha'Zix. Sometimes, I like to play longsword. That's why I'm Gold League. But hey, the longsword on mid lane Kha'Zix is pretty fun to use early on. I tell you what.
But yeah, Go on.
Briefly, while we get into this pause, I do want to talk about Soldier's player of the game, and it really, for me, has to be Innocent.
Nick
because when
Nubbins Yako.
Nick Tasty Nubbins Yako, yes, he is the Dawn God. But besides him, his apprentice is Innocent, playing that Lucian, the AD carry for Legend Dragons. I mean, I think that this guy is really good when he gets the tools to put himself ahead. The problem is that his team often doesn't give him the necessary, kite potential, doesn't give him the necessary resources in order to get to that spot where he can really carry on Lucian. So rather than Innocent necessarily being the carry of the game, his statistics and his performance is really representative of how Legend Dragons is playing. So if he has a good game, expect him to win this set. If he has a bad series of games, then they might not be so lucky.
Just watching those boomerangs go back and forth to the...
Yeah, dude.
Little bit of a trade. Wards as well being dropped down. Jace not having any of that. So obviously, don't know all those summoner names of the Chinese characters. We might have to just go with champion names for now, but potential red buff invade scouting out as well by Legendary Dragons. Using that Tormented Soil as a little bit of a zoning.
They were able to put down a ward at the red buff, so now they get vision on that when and if they do tend to get that red buff. They are grouped up. Maybe they will go for that red buff. A late invade on it.
I mean, you have to think that they would, especially since they have had no vision of the enemy bottom lane. So, it looks like they won't. And YLG instead is making the move. So YLG is actually... Okay, so since they did have a ward on their own line of skirmish, they will be able to go for a successful invade. And, YLG, interestingly enough, is able to set up the 2v1s right here. Now, it's too hard to tell who comes out on the 2v1 because I personally don't know how good Ryze is at this moment in time in helping his jungler clear camps and then alternatively teleporting to the top or bottom lane and collecting that farm. So it really comes down to how each team manipulates these lane swaps. So it's going to be really interesting to see which team gets the early lead in this particular game.
Well, easy red buff take right there by YLG, so gonna have a little bit of a solid advantage as there was no ward coverage from LD to basically know that was coming at all, but they do spot out the lane swap, and it looks like Meganar just having a little bit of fun over there with his Kazakh's counterpart, just clearing things out. Razzleplasm, you're my LSPL expert here, while Hubo is just my
expert
woman in the grotto. Give it to me straight. What do we have here, Razzleplasm, that jumps at your eye right off the bat?
I would say the most surprising thing is Corki's laning phase, because Corki right now is honestly, obviously a very strong laner. You would want to put him in a 2v2, so it would seem as if that Team YLG decided to put him in the 2v2 lane, but I'm not sure if they were mind game into thinking that what's it called, that LD would put them in the 2v2, but it's interesting to see him not put to his fullest potential.
Yeah.
Right. In the one game that I saw YouLong game actually play, 517 to 80. Oh, it looks like we have a fight right here.
I don't think it's really that much of a fight, but the flag and drag just rocking faces jumping up.
Okay.
Does land on? Yeah, nothing happens. Come on, man, you gotta give me more than that.
I'm sorry. I messed up. I've been boo-boo. But the interesting thing I think here, just to supplement Raz's point, is that in the one game that I did watch the AD carry for YouLong Dragons, 517 play, he didn't necessarily have the strongest laning phase, at least compared to the AD carries he was playing. Again, they were facing off against Team MD. MD was a favorite to make it into the LSPL this season, so there might be that factor to consider. That MD's laners are all very, very strong, but it might not be as surprising as you think. Oh, and we got the flash out from the Zed.
Hot dog, man. Doesn't look like anything's gonna all come of that though. Using that to live in shadows, all that fun stuff. So, a lane swap initiated by YLG when they probably would have favored a little bit of a 2v2 more, and now gold leads even out to them a little bit. 200 early on, obviously nothing to really Yankee chains and stuff about, but early item starts, everything looks fairly standard for the most part, guys. When can we probably expect that first big skirmish to keep us, chugging along in this one? I
mean, it definitely has to be Dragon. Now, see, this is the really interesting balance you get in Jace Corki compositions. Jace Corki compositions are all about, alternating that early game dominance from the Corki with the mid to late game scaling of the Jace. And you have that absurd amount of poke and kite potential, especially when you do have the Nami on your team. So it's all about not letting the Gnar flank you with his teleport or come in on the flank, not letting him get, a sneaky kill onto you, and wow.
Over the wall, hello, ladies and gentlemen! Avoidless Cosmic's first blood here, tying us up on the gold and stuff. And now maybe they're looking for the dive. I'm guessing I'm probably a tiny bit behind you guys, but I'm sure that we can, get us all synced up again for the funsies later on. So, quick and easy first blood. He's just like, hey, I see what you're doing, and I don't like it.
Yeah, and I mean, I have to refresh my stream, but I do want to finish my sentiment on the Corki Jace composition. It's all about letting the enemy team start that dragon first, and then surrounding them with your poke, with your CC, and eventually the AoE spread coming from the top laner with the Rise. You have to make sure that you let the enemy team start the dragon first, because if you get caught and collapsed down in the dragon pit, game is over. 15 minutes, game is over. So YouLong Dragons have to make sure that they're able to balance correctly the needs of their composition and able to put some distance between themselves and the enemy team, particularly the Gnar, the Zed, even thank God on that Morgana.
With that being said, I think YouLong Gaming is playing the laning phase really well. The ability to put Rise into that lane, right now he is 20 CS ahead, and that was simply because the moment he got his tier, they just put him into lane, and with the Nami, so he's been off really well, while Gnar is just going to be able to struggle. I'm not sure how that's going to work out with him in his itemizing.
And, it's just been a lot of solo XP for Corki over the top lane with Nami trailing down with the Jarvan all the way through. So, FaZe, I guess that's how you go, is just having a pretty easy, fun time up with this top lane, though they are tight on CS. Getting a little bit of solo XP, so he's chugging along a little bit quicker and a little bit faster on those Ducroids. I love you.
Yeah.
I love you, Soldier. I love you,
you too, man.
I
love it. Everybody
see how
loves
it
each
is.
other. This is going to be the longest yet best 9 hours of my life.
Oh my goodness.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, leave it to Tencent Gaming to basically stream what I actually think was the worst set of matches we could have had. With the worst matchups that we've had, on our schedule, and put the first, so we have to sit through it. But hopefully we do get an LSPL winner out of this.
Oh, wow.
I'd like to be heard, buddy.
Yeah, dude.
Reach for the skies.
I'm reaching right now. My dong is reaching.
God, man.
Hey, I don't know, man. I still really like YLG's, I guess their picks and bans. They may be able to, I guess they're weaker in the sense of laning, but they tend to play out picks and bans really well. I feel like that's how they beat Team MD to begin with.
I think when you have Jace Corki on one side and you have Gnar on the other side, it's really hard to say who won the draft phase, because just individually, those three champions are so FOTM right now. They're so in the meta, especially with Jace with the exhaust against champions like Zed, against champions like Ahri, even against champions like Talon. So it's really hard to say who's going to come out on top purely based on the draft phase, but it does look like that if I do believe that if YLG is able to stall it out long enough, then they will be able to take advantage, full control of this game.
And YLG, they're not playing for this lane. Oh, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Cosmic's picking up an easy one. It's like bubble to the face, does absolutely nothing, 2-0, and that basically spells dragon for legendary dragons. So, as I was gonna say about the sieging tower poking comp, but trading it in the mid lane, flash up for it. Zed just be like, get that weak stuff out of here. 3-0, legendary dragons just rocking it all the way through, picking up the first dragon of their game. Their gold lead is now approaching 2,000, just a wee bit under that. So 9 minutes 20 seconds into the game, things looking good for those over here by the LB.
Oh god, right after I compliment them too.
Right
after I compliment them, they do 3 very key horrible mistakes. YLG first, Nami gets picked off, which leads into a dragon. And while it's maybe they can contest that, maybe they can poke him off with that comp, unfortunately, Jace gets 1v1 by the Zed. And that's all she wrote. That's a massive advantage taken away from them, I guess. So that's...
I mean, the Jace burned everything as well, so... This is looking really, really poor. You're 1K down to a team composition that's going to be able to snowball out of control. You really hope that Fa17 will be able to somehow carry the remainder of this game. But it looks like, you know, he doesn't have that much going for him. He still has the starting items. He presumably is going to back soon. He hasn't even gotten a return turret in the top lane. So the global gold is really lacking. And for a team like this, obviously you have really nice scaling. You know, you have the Nami again. You have the Jace, Corki, Nami matchup. However, if you're not going to be able to get there if you're playing like this. You really need to be careful with your objective control right now, and it doesn't look like that YouLong Gaming have that level of skill at the moment.
Oh. Fanggod's just like, I want this pink ward. He's gonna go take it. He's gonna have a fun time. Look at Meganar just kind of chilling, reverting back up in the top lane, farming it out. So, as we get past these early game stages into the mid game, despite being down, you feel like YLG might still, you know, have a little bit of an edge with their bully potential, with the shock blast and the missile blasts from Corki.
Right, but you do have to remember that, you know, the Jace did get the Muramana first, so it's going to take a pretty long time for him to get relevant. Probably at least another 7 to 10 minutes. And in that time, another dragon is going to spawn.
This is not a good decision.
This is not a good decision.
It's all the fun time. It's like Flash Summoner Hill. Can he save himself? Cosmic Slide, get that weak stuff out of here. Pick it up, avoidless. Having a little bit of fun. So it's 4-1. Still making it a 1-for-1 trade. Here we go. Trident up. Jarvan flashing over the wall. Looking for the Morg. Fanggod's like trying to get away as best he can. Darkbind lands. Flying Drake not going to go. Fanggod's alive. The Cully picks up the kill. God. And he just walks away like that did not happen.
Wow. Okay, so this is getting increasingly worse and worse for the side of YLG. I mean, they have to show some serious perseverance in order to get out of this. I mean, just look at their composition. So many champions that do well in the later stages of the game. Your Ryze is not going to do any damage at this point in the game. Your Jace is not going to do any damage at this point in the game. Where are you going? How are you going to teamfight the enemy team when they have a Gnar and they have a Zed? It's just really, really difficult to do. At this point, the best thing that YLG can do right now is they should. It's really hard. Just because the Gnar isn't as fed as the other members of the team are, you have to get your Ryze into the same lane as the Gnar. Hope that the Ryze can bully out the enemy top laner at times, and pray that you were able to clear waves until you get into relevancy. But honestly, relevancy is another 10 or 20 minutes away from this team.
HSL is just totally getting wrecked up over here.
Ooh.
The creep, he's just gonna leave
if he gets
the Rock landed! The Rock landed! Is he gonna get the Wolvar form and go for the boomerang?
You got
he's chasing me! Flash didn't get the rocket! Just a flash trade for a flash trade. Oh man, I was rooting for Gnar. I really was. Not trying to be biased, but I was like, Gnar, just do it, buddy. Your little adorableness, I want you to pick up the kill. Yeah,
and so while we are able to, eventually calm ourselves down, and the Legend Dragons did grab another turret, so the score is now 1 turret to 0. I would also like to report. I would also like to. You're cutting off from me, but I would also like to report that we are working on some of the technical issues that you do see on your stream. We understand that these issues are occurring, and we do apologize profusely for these problems, and so we will get that fixed in between Game 1 and Game 2 of this best of 3 set. So thank you very much for your patience. Raz, anything you got to say about this game so far?
It's looking like a rock slide, honestly. It's it's looking bad. I think the best they can hope for is look for the vision control. Honestly, even if they do get vision control of Dragon, it's probably not going to work out simply because Team LD can just roll on over there and take him out, because that's a team fight heavy cop. And here comes a fight.
Oh man, just jump up and down, Deathmark as well. Exhaust taking way out of that. He's just like, get that out of here. Voidless picks up the kill. Jace goes downtown, and so he's 6 feet under the ground. 6-1. Dragon be coming up about 55 seconds. I'm a poet, and I didn't know it. 14 minutes, 20 seconds of the game.
Nick Yako ain't even a rapper, though.
I ain't a rapper.
Anyways, yeah. My professional analysis of this game, YLG is going to lose, and I put a bet on that. I mean, again, Raz is 100% correct. It's really hard to out team fight a composition like the one that Legend Dragons currently has. They YLG is basically relying on not getting behind in the early game and poking from a safe distance, but they have no damage to poke with. So if they're going to keep giving up dragons and keep giving up objectives like this, then they're eventually going to get snowballed out. And that's how the meta works in this iteration of the game. Wow.
The Feng guy's just going to get totally wrecked, and now we're coming in for more trades. Jace forced to flash out, but now it's coming in with the TP. Picks up the kill to Jace, jumping back around Voilet, picking up Rise. It's just another trade all the way through the bubble. It's nicely done into the Cataclysm. Double up, Corky just melting him away. Now it's little baby Gnaw on the run, something to get more clarity. There's the death mark. Ladies and gentlemen, down goes Corky. Now they're going to try to turn this one. It looks like he's got some pretty good success coming along here. Bubble does land, though, nicely done. And now it's going to be Gnar. Might try to pick up the kill. Can he get the Nami down for the count? Does not look like it. Towers, they're just like the biggest crutch right now for this poor LD team. But they pick up the J4 kill. Turret, aggro, juggling all the way through. 10-4. Their gold lead's now approaching 5,000. Nami's just like alive with no HP. Praying to God they don't jump that wall and just wreck her face. And they're like, Dragon's up, we got more time. Easy fight for LD.
That's going to be another 1.5k gold going over to the side of Legend Dragons. I mean, this game is getting worse and worse by the minute. And
this is why America voted 74% LD. YLG, you fired.
Anyways, YLG, actually, the support for YLG, the Nami, she actually got a really nice bubble onto the AD carry, onto Innocent on the side of Legend Dragons, and it looked like they were able to turn around that fight, but Pasa just came in, he had his Ignite up, he had his Flash, this guy just went completely ham, destroyed the enemy team. Again, for every shot that the YouLong Dragons started to take, the Legend Dragons seem to have an answer, so looks like the Legends won't be going down anytime soon.
YLG is really keeping it competitive in the sense of how they're playing it in comparison to how much gold, or at least how far behind they are. Like, holy I cannot believe how well Nami played that fight, and then it just was deleted instantly with Pasa's play.
Clutch bubbles, man.
That was...
Yeah.
Oof.
It's just, you know, there's nothing you really can do to stop the split push. You can, I mean, you don't even have to split push. You can just group up right now and completely wipe the enemy team. I mean, a 21-minute Baron isn't even out of the question. You're 6k gold ahead. You can do anything you want to right now. At this point in time, it's really about clearing the wards in the rivers, on the rivers, and then trying to put as much enemy vision in next to their buffs so you can contest every single objective, the red buff, the blue buff, the dragon, the turret, contest everything in order to get a really, to keep snowballing your lead, and that's how modern League of Legends works.
Avoidless just keeps getting jumped on. He's going to jump over the wall. Cataclysm already used Hexdrinker proc. Will it save his life? It looks like it just might with the blinking HP bar. He's got minimal HP and he's still alive. Now it's Corky and Pasa doing the damage. FaZe versus Pasa, and it's going to be Pasa going for the win now. Jace jumping on. Poor Innocent trying to duke it out, kite as best he can. Summerhill being used. The bubble lands. It is definitely not enough. And Innocent picks up the kill in the mid lane. 12-4. LD is just like, guys, what are you even trying to do right now? Just kind of give us the game.
I would not be very surprised if we had our first rage quit of the bracket stages. So
Speak of the devil!
Oh god.
Oh god.
Oh man, the flag had dragged back, and it's like the Flash from Ice trying to clean things up a little bit, picks up one for his troubles. But Gnar just having a little bit of a fun time. 13-5. He's a big boy, big dinosaur lizardy boy, just walking around. Oh, just clearing out the map.
Gnar is like some prehistoric.
Oh, he's got that Reptar skin.
I'm surprised he's not using that skin right now. That's actually the cutest. I have that skin. That's the cutest skin in existence.
I just want to put him on a leash and take him for a walk.
On a scale of 1 to Chinese Rumble voiceover, how cute is it, man?
Oh god. Okay, I don't know what to say anymore, man. Oh, okay, it's not as good as Chinese Rumble voiceover, but.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you really want to, if you're having a bad day, go search up the Chinese voiceover for Rumble, because it will absolutely melt your heart. I mean, people called me, a cold witch at times. People think I have no sympathy for my fellow human being, but when I just hear that cute little voice telling me, telling me to, I don't know. I forgot what Rumble even says, but
that's not even the important part. I feel like the cutest part about his voiceover is when he dies, which is actually very sad. And I would like to thank Xiang for making me realize that how much he died in his games, and I think it was in the NEST.
God bless.
Jeez.
Yeah,
basically. I mean, you know, now that we have the time to, we can just comment on anything we want to. Speaking of Xiang, it looks like, for people who don't know, Xiang has been returned. Looks like he is returning to the mid lane. He did have a brief stint in the top lane of the G League, but recent solo queue performances would suggest that he's going to train as a mid laner again, possibly sub for one of OMG's 3 teams. I think they have 3 organizations under that brand. So there's Xiang could potentially have a really large role in the upcoming season of the LSPL, and he has a lot to prove because the last time he faced Koreans, he got stomped, and you know, it seems like Pawn and Rookie will both be in the LSPL if all indications are correct. So,
all right, turret goes down. We got this little bit of a push going on from LD, and I'm just like, we'll get the turret. We'll just peel out of there like a banana split. Clearing out the wards as they go. The Shock Blast poke does absolutely nothing to them. It's just like, give us your weakest efforts. It's like a little pinch on the arm, and their gold lead now approaches 10,000. 21 minutes into the game, 13-5 in kills.
This is
It's
bad.
looking more and more bleak for YLG.
But this is a very important part of the game for, or at least just the series for Team LD, because honestly, like, what defines a team, or at least what shows how they'll perform in the LSPL, is how well they can hold the lead. Like, a lot of teams just can't, like, just are incapable of doing so. Once they gain a lead, they'll figure out a way to, like, find a scrap that they like to go for,
Right.
and it just, like, will turn horribly wrong. But this team right now is killing Vision. They're doing a really well, like, amazing job at keeping it, so
they're not face checking brushes. I mean, that's a plus right there.
there we go.
Yeah,
You know,
well,
and we have to remember, gentlemen, that this upcoming season of the LSPL will undoubtedly be the toughest season, possibly even tougher and more cutthroat than, you know, the League of Legends Professional League. Then, oh wow, is this going to be the solo kill?
probably. More than a solo kill with the teleport coming in. R comes back around as well. So Voidless picks up the kill. That's his 6th of the game. Definitely the kill leader in command for this LD roster. They've got minions pushing in the mid lane. They've got 11,000 gold lead. They're just like, alright, let's push it up. Nar's just kind of chilling. Hey, can I just try to poke you a little bit with the boomerangs? His name is Potato, ladies and gentlemen. That is Potato.
The greatest potato.
If
It's a good name.
If he is Potato, then what are the boomerangs that he's throwing right now?
Oh god, fries maybe.
Chips?
Yeah, chips.
French fries? Alright, dude.
I'd say chips.
Crinkle cut French fries, baby. Bow tie French fries.
I like me some French fries. I actually had the option to eat some French fries today, but Nick, I haven't told you this, but I'm on a diet. You know,
Oh.
trying to impress myself for you. I'm trying
Good for
to
you,
slim
good for
down
you.
just for you, right?
What we need to do, we need to go to Walmart. We need to go buy some like $15 sweaters.
God.
We need to wear them, and we need to walk down the streets of, like, you know, NYC, just in the Bronx. Walk down the streets just wearing our sweaters. You know, maybe some shorts, some sunglasses, and a nice wool cap to make ourselves
Wool
look
cap.
nice. That's what we're gonna do. That's gonna be the summer of Soldra Nubbins.
All right.
Just
I mean,
because you're going on a diet, we're gonna just make it happen.
The summer of Soldra and Nubbins. I look forward to the movie that will be made about.
Coming to a
our
theater
journey.
near you, July 2015.
I can already
Yes, sir.
imagine it. Oh god. I can see the Hollywood
Nice,
like
Black
trailer
Shield.
too. Yeah, that's a really good Black Shield.
Dang right, you can see the Hollywood trailer because you're the director, man.
This is right. This right here is the critical moment for. Wait, were they not able to clear out that? That was interesting. Okay.
No, they didn't. It's a dragon.
I wonder why they weren't able to clear that ward. Because technically, and this is a good trick for Evelyn, if you have a pink ward in a brush but put a ward outside of it, then as long as the enemy ward is in that pink ward's vision, then you should be able to get that ward. I'm really interested why they decided not to clear it. Yeah, that is the end of that. Has to be the end of the game. If you're down 13,000 gold at 24 minutes, for to lose the game or to give up in any possibility. It's just the simple truth of it. You picked yourself into a Rise composition. You picked yourself into a Jace composition. You thought that you could... I mean, the reason why we had these 2v1s is because you wanted to standardize the laning phase as much as you can, and you wanted to predict the movements of the enemy jungler. And if you aren't able to do that, if you aren't prepared to give up a couple dragons for going 2v1, send your dual lane to the top lane, then this is what's going to happen. You'll always fail.
It's gonna bite you in the rump.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that 2v1s, I mean, this lane swap meta is one of the hardest, just it's such a tough situation. And, you know, I've coached teams. Raz has he will work with teams very soon, and you know it's so incredibly hard to manage all the different scenarios and possibilities that can happen in the lane swap. So yeah, I mean, they went for a risk. The members of YouLong Gaming went for a risk, and it looks like it's not going to pay off.
Well, this is why they verify, watch all the replays more and more times. You know, they know what they can do. And speak of the devil, looks like J4 just a little nice jump over the wall. He should be able to jump himself to safety. But, you know, there's always next game. These are best of 3 sets. If I do recall correctly, or are they best of 5? One of you guys will know that better than me.
Yeah.
Best of 3 sets. So, always a chance for YLG to come back in the next game, so they're not constantly losing those games, CLG style. And 26 minutes in, clearing over the wall. It looks like LD might be ready to try and go ham for this one. They got minions approaching from basically all ends of the spectrum. They've got like a 2-1-1, 3-1-1 split push going on. Darkbine's over the wall. Just try to chase it, keep YLG as split up as they possibly can to get as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be very important to see how this. It'll be very important to see how this.
I agree.
Oh, they're going for it, dude. They're going for it. Rise goes down, and then it's just a trade. They just pass it down on the bottom side, picking up the kill as well. He's going to pick up this turret, split pushing Zed. This is why it does work. So that turns into basically a 2 for none.
Oh,
jumps away from everything. But they're going to pick him up. Flash over the Cataclysm. He's still alive, ladies and gentlemen. Another blinking health bar survival. 4 avoidance on the Kha'Zix, and it's Lucian Innocent coming in. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't even know how. Calling over. Oh, can he get it? A little bit more. Third stack up from the Gnar. Jumping away, just running away. He's on ward coverage. Mega Gnar coming in, flashing up auto attack for the day before he even turns into the Dino. 18-5. Zed picks up the turret, looking for the inhib as well. Innocent trying to split push a little bit of his own. We're 27 minutes in, ladies and gentlemen. 18 kills to 5. This is a game that I think YLG just wants to go home and forget ever happened.
Yeah, and it's really, honestly, it's really, really disappointing. I mean, again, remember, we were talking about Team MD, the team that YLG had defeated in order to get to this, you know, part of the group stage, get to this part of the bracket stage. And you were wondering, you know, will the YouLong Dragons, is this a team full of potential? You know, they defeated Team MD, the favorites after all. Can they carry this momentum and, you know, get themselves into the LSPL? And unfortunately, right now, based on the performance that we've seen in the past 27 minutes of gameplay, just doesn't look like the case. Raz?
Yeah, definitely. And it will be very important to see how like their mentality works, because like this game was definitely winnable. Even with the disadvantages they had in the lanes and the, I would say, the 2v1s. But it will see. It's really hard to say because mechanically it feels like these laners are inferior. YLG.
Diamond.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, definitely. And so I don't know. How are you able to do it? Maybe the Galio pick, but they just ban it out. So it's hard to see how that'll work out.
Right, and I mean, one of the reasons why, you know, of course, obviously, we talk about the Galio pick. One of the reasons why people are saying that the YouLong Dragons lost was because they didn't respect the members of. Because Team MD didn't respect YLG in the draft phase, so it looks like we're not seeing the same mistake today.
Are you kidding me right now?
Oh, God.
Let's just going in hand for a double up, getting the refreshes. Triple kill for the man himself, Avoidless. All the while it's Passages down in the bottom lane. He already has the inhibitor. He's just looking to farm those minions and just push out as much as he can to try and win the game. But, you know, it's like Rise all the way behind him.
Oh, God.
And he got the kill with a death mark. The camera wasn't even watching it. That's how bad it happened. Oh, man. So the turret goes down. This is going to be the top lane inhibitor as well. Chasing up for the Corki, flashing away, so he'll be safe. Safe old man in the helichopper. Inhibitor's going down. That's 2 down at the moment. Going for a third, ladies and gentlemen.
God.
Still 3 dead for the side of YLG. They should be coming up any moment now. Third inhibitor goes down. 3 for 3 on the mark. 4 legendary dragons. Checking out those wards. Checking out those cleared out buffs. YLG, will they try to stave it off here? Will they just let LD take all of their base for themselves? They're going to try their best, but it looks like their efforts definitely going to be not well met. So, turn push is going. The Darkbind lands to jump in and jump away. He was very quick, knowing that he was going to die.
All LD has to do is wait for the minions. I mean, this game is basically, it's just over. And I mean, obviously it's not the picture-perfect game that we might have liked to see. It's the Nexus turn. Right. So as this game finally closes its curtains, obviously it's not the picture-perfect game we would have liked to see in this situation, but 11 turrets to 0. That's incredible. That's really, really incredible. I mean, throughout this in game 1, Legend Dragons didn't give up a single. They didn't give up a single objective. After 20 minutes, they didn't even give up a single one of the enemy's buffs. They took every dragon. They got the Baron. What a really, really clean game from the team of the Legend Dragons. And obviously, their team fighting issues seem to have been solved. And I might have been a little bit hasty in trying to call them out earlier in this broadcast.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you saw the game. You saw it was a little bit of a steamroll. Obviously, there were technological issues on our end. We're going to fix those, and we're going to get us ready back into rolling here in just a sec for Game 2. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the LPL EN TGA LSPL qualifiers. I'm your man, Nick Taste of a Jocko. I like saying these two's names, Hubo Soldier Shim, and of course, the new guy to the platform, Barrento Razoplasm.
Barrento.
I love your name.
Barrento.
And you got the R roll, so that just makes it 10 times more perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with Game 2. Gentlemen, get up and rolling, get that music popping, and let's hit it.
Sweet, let's go.